Good day everyone, I am Sir Aris, your Muppet teacher. So, let us start our discussion. Our lesson for today is all about music, first quarter, module 1, vocal and instrumental music of the medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque period. But before that, there are some reminders in using this module, or your module. Number 1. Use the module with care. Do not put unnecessary marks on any part of the module. Use a separate sheet of paper in answering the exercises. Kaya ko kayo dun pinagsasagot sa long pad. Number 2. Don't forget to answer what I know before moving on to the other activities, including in the module. Number 3. Read the instruction carefully before doing each task. Number 4. Observe honesty and integrity in doing the task and checking your answer. Number 5. Finish the task at hand before proceeding to the next. Number 6. Return this module to your teacher, facilitator, once you are through with it. If you encounter any difficulty in answering the task in this module, do not hesitate to consult your teacher or facilitator. Always bear in mind that you are not alone. We hope that through this material, you will experience meaningfully learning and gain deep understanding of the relevant competencies. You can do it. What I need to know. This module provides various activities that will familiarize you with the different Western vocal and instrumental music. It will also help you understand the usage and importance of music in our daily life activities. At the end of the module, you are expected to identify the different period in Western music, recognize the different vocal and instrumental music, and differentiate vocal and instrumental music of the medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque period. So let us start. So please prepare your long pad, your ball pen, and I will give you 5 minutes to finish the activities. So the first activities that you need to do is what I know. Direction. Read the statement carefully and select the best answer by writing only the letter of your choice on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. A rhythmical free liturgical chant of the Roman Catholic Church. A. Gregorian chant. B. Mass song. C. Sacred music. D. Troubadour music. Number 2, it is a form of orchestral music that employs a solo instrument accompanied by an orchestra. A. Chorale. B. Concerto. C. Concerto grosso. D. Fugue. Number 3, this is a Baroque music style developed mainly by imitative counterpoint. A. Chorale. B. Fugue. C. Oratorio. D. Toccata. Number 4, it refers to the primary form of sacred vocal polyphony. A. Madrigal. B. Mass. C. Motet. D. Troubadour. Next, number 5. The popular music during the later part of medieval period which is not bound by Catholic tradition. A. Sacred music. B. Secular music. C. Solo music. D. Instrumental music. Next, number 6. This is the period when the Christian Church highly influenced culture and political affairs in Europe. A. Baroque period. B. Classical period. C. Medieval period. D. Renaissance period. 7. A period when arts are highlighted grandiose and elaborated ornamentation in music. A. Renaissance period. B. Baroque period. C. Medieval period. D. Classical period. 8. It is the only song composition during the Renaissance period that was written with Greek text. A. Agnus Dei. B. Credo. C. Gloria. D. Kyrie. Number 9. A form of music consisting of a single melodic line without chordal accompaniment and considered as the oldest type of music. A. Homophonic. B. Heterophonic, C. Monophonic, D. Polyphonic. Number 10. This is the most prominent musical instrument during the Renaissance period. A. Harpsichord, B. Keyboard, C. Lute, D. Piano. Next, number 11. It is a large-scale musical composition for orchestra and voice that incorporates narratives on religious themes. A. Concerto, B. Concerto grosso, C. Fugue, D. Oratorio. Number 12. The period that is also known as the Dark Ages. A. Baroque period, B. Classical period, C. Medieval period, D. Renaissance period. Number 13. A characteristic of a mass music in which a note is set to each syllable. A. Melismatic, B. Pneumatic, C. Syllabic, D. Poetic. Number 4. The period which means rebirth or looking back to the golden age of Greece and Rome. A. Baroque period, B. Classical period, C. Medieval period, D. Renaissance period. Number 15. It is a symbol representing 1 to 2 4 notes used as notation during the medieval period. A. Libretto, B. Notes, C. Musical score, D. Neumes. Okay? Time is up! Let us check your work. Number 1. A. 2. B. 3. C. 4. B. 5. B. Next, 6. C. 7. B. 8. D. 9. C. 10. C. Next, 11. D. 12. C. 13. C. 14. D. 15. Last number, letter D. Okay, count the total number of your score. Okay, kung nakakuha kayo ng 11 to 15, I got it. I understand everything. 6 to 10, I mostly get it. I understand most of it, but not all of it. 2 to 5, I am still a little confused. Then last, number 1, kung may nakakuha number 1, I don't understand at all, but I am willing to learn it. I don't get it. Next activity. Name the different instruments of the Western music by making the appropriate names. The first one has been done for you. Yung harpsichord. Ayan. Yung number 1 is a harpsichord. How about number 2? O, pipili lang po kayo sa may box. Number 3. Number 4. Then last number 5. Okay? Okay, time's up. Let us check. Okay, here's the answer. Harpsichord, number 1, number 2, drums, 3, lute, 4, harp, then 5, piano. So let's move on to our topic. Our topic for today is all about music of the medieval period. Medieval music was an era of Western music that focuses on songs, instrumental pieces, and liturgical music from 700 AD to 1400 AD. Started with the fall of the Roman Empire and was also known as the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages. Next, vocal music of the medieval period. Sample of the music of medieval period is Gregorian chant. The church-owned music that was born in the church liturgy was introduced by Pope Gregory I. He invented monophonic plain chants that is later on approved to be used by the Catholic Church. He used it and made the monophonic plain chants famous. That is why later on it was called as Gregorian chant. Ayan yung sample ng notation, yung unang picture, notation ng Gregorian chant. Then yung isang picture sa kanan ay si Pope Gregory the First. So let us move on to the characteristic of Renaissance music. Number 1, texture. Polyphonic. It uses 2 or more independent melodies. Number 2, voices. Imitation among the voice is common. Number 3, use word painting in text and music. It reflects the literal meaning of a song lyrics. Number 4, melody. Melodic lines move in a flowing manner. Melodies are easier to perform because these move along a scale with a few leaps. Ayan, makikita nyo po sa picture. It is a sample of neum. A neum is the basic element of Western and Eastern systems of musical notation prior to the invention of 5-line staff notation. Ayan po yung sample ng musical notation. Bali, mga notes po yung nakikita nyo dyan. Next, so we have Troubadour music. A secular music also emerged during this period. These are music that is not bound by Catholic Church. It was assumed that most of the music was improvised and was represented by a troubadour. A troubadour was a composer and performer of a lyric poetry across Europe during the medieval period. During this period, a tradition of courtly music is developed and it is called a troubadour music. Ibig sabihin po, nagkaroon na po ng division ang music noon. Meron ng sacred music for the religion, for Catholic Church. Then meron na rin po tayong troubadour music or secular music which entertains the people. So, what is the characteristic of troubadour music? Number 1, texture. Monophonic. It is sung in unison form. Number 2, improvised instruments. Sometimes uses improvised accompaniment. Number 3, melody lyric. It tells story about chivalry and courtly love. Number 4, it originated in France. It is written in French language. Ibig sabihin po, unison, monophonic, single voice. Then number 2, improvised instrument. For example, gumagamit ng drum o yung with the use of our hands, clapping. Then number 3, yung it tells a story about chivalry and courtly love. Chivalry, ito po yung kwento po ng mga ano tawag dito? Yung mga sundalo noon. Ayan, yung mga knights nila. Then about din sa courtly love o panliligaw, pagmamahalan. Number 4, and then it is originated in French language. Andyan po yung link sa may baba na yun para mapanood nyo po kung ano ba yung ano ito? Para mapakinggan nyo kung ano ba yung troubadour music. Ano ba yung pagkakaiba ng music ng troubadour noon at yung music natin ngayon. Next, music of the Renaissance period. Music of the Renaissance period was the revival of the Golden Age of Greece and Rome, dated from 1400 to 1600 AD. The word Renaissance came from the word renaître, which means rebirth, revival, and rediscover. During this period, the invention of printing press gave way for a wide distribution of printed music that made new musical genre rise. Sacred music was still of great importance, but because of the development in music, the secular music became more popular during this time. Lute was the most prominent instrument at this period. Renaissance era was also known as the Golden Age of the a cappella choral music. Ibig sabihin, mas nag-boom o mas sumikat yung sacred music o yung tinatawag natin na troubadour music. Kasi nga, it is for entertainment of the people. Then yung sacred music, it is for their religious thing. Ayan. Parang sa atin lang ngayon, famous yung mga OPM music. Pero hindi pa rin nakakalimutan yung mga religious music. Ayan. Next, what are the characteristics of Renaissance music? Number 1, texture, polyphonic. It uses 2 or more independent melodies. Number 2, voices. Imitation among the voice is common. Number 3, use word painting in text and music. It reflects the literal meaning of a song's lyrics. 4, melody. Melodic lines move in a flowing manner. Melodies are easier to perform because these move along a scale with a few lips. Next, what are the vocal music of the Renaissance period? Number 1, Mass. It is also known as sacred music. Pag sinabi naman nating Mass, pagsamba. It is a form of musical composition that set text of the Eucharist liturgy into music. Andiyan po sa baba yung link kung gusto nyo pang painggan. Sana painggan ninyo para makita nyo yung pagkakaiba ng music noon sa music ngayon. Then next, what are the characteristics of the Mass? Number 1, it is polyphonic. Number 2, it may be sung a cappella or with orchestral accompaniment. When we say a cappella, kumakanta lang gamit yung boses natin o lalamunan. Kapag ka naman may orchestral accompaniment, ito po yung meron ng ginagamit na instrument habang kumakanta. Number 3, text may be syllabic, pneumatic, or melismatic. Ayan, ayun po yung sample ng syllabic, pneumatic, tsaka melismatic. Next, number 1 is Mass. Number 2, Madrigal. It is a secular vocal polyphonic music composition which originated from Italy. It is written and expressed in a poetic text and sung during courtly social gatherings. It is the most important secular form during the Renaissance period. Characteristic of the madrigal: number 1, it is polyphonic. 2, it may be sung a cappella. 3, it is true composed. Then last, it is frequently in 3 to 6 voices. Ayan pa. Dyan sa may pinakababa, makikita nyo, Philippine National Anthem, composed by Julian J. Felipe. Pakihanap na lang sa YouTube. Makikita nyo yan. Painggan ninyo. Next, music of the Baroque period. Baroque music is a style of Western art music that started from 1600 to 1750 AD. The term came from the Portuguese word barroco, which means pearl of irregular shape. Music was highly elaborated and ornamented as well as the other forms of art. New instrumental techniques and changes in musical notation were developed. The use of major and minor tonality was also created in this period, and a lot of musical terms and concepts were presented in the period that are still used today. Next, characteristic of Baroque music. Number 1, melody. Melodies sound elaborate and ornamental. Melodies are not easy to sing or remember. Number 2, texture. Primarily contrapuntal textures with some homophony. Number 3, dynamic contrast. It used an alternation between loud and soft. 4, music genres. Operas, oratories, suites, toccatas, concerto grosso, fugue. Number 5, instrumentation. Orchestras consist of strings and continuo. Harpsichord and organ are the keyboard instruments that are used. 6 forms: binary, ternary, ground bass, and fugue. Next, music Genres of the Baroque music. Number 1, concerto. It is a form of Baroque music that is intended for a solely instrument accompanied by an orchestras. Pag sinabi natin orchestras, ito po yung group of instruments. Ayan. Number 2, concerto grosso. It is a form of Baroque music composed of a small group of solo instruments. Concertino and the whole orchestra or tutti. Number 3, fugue. It is a contrapuntal composition developed mainly by imitative counterpoint. Number 4, oratorio. It is a type of musical piece without costume, scenery, props, or action that incorporates narratives on biblical or religious events. Number 5, choral. It is a harmonized version of hymnal tunes of the Protestant Church. Sa ilalim po, listen to Baroque music as featured in this link. Ayan po yung link, click nyo lang po or search nyo po sa YouTube para makita ninyo at mapanood ninyo itong mga ito. Yung mga sample na music genres of the Baroque music. Okay, malinaw ba? Meron bang tanong? Kung meron po kayong tanong, okay, paki-message lang po sa akin or sa group para masagot natin yung mga katanungan nyo. Pero mas mainam na paki-message na lang po sa akin kasi pagka minessage mo dun sa may group, matatabunan po yung link. Baka doon sa mga nahuli, hindi na makita yung link. Mga tamad pa naman mag-backread. Okay? Next, okay, pakihanda po natin yung ating long pad, yung ball pen. At simulan uli natin mag-activity. What's more? Independent activity number 1. Word search puzzle. Find and encircle the vocal muse hidden in the grid. The words may be in vertical, horizontal, or in diagonal position. Pero kayo, hanapin nyo na lang dito. Then, pakisulat na lang yung sagot dun sa may long pad. Pakisulat mo na yung direction, then pakisulat yung sagot. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. Pakipost muna to para makita ninyo yung word puzzle. Next activity, independent assessment. Matching type. Match the description in column A to the items in the column B. Write the letter of your answer on the space provided before each number. Okay, pakipost na lang uli. Or tingnan nyo na lang dyan sa may module ninyo. Pakisagutan. Okay, time's up. Let us check your answer. Okay, madrigal, sacred, chant, secular, and mass. Ayan. Next, secular music, mass, Gregorian chant, sacred music, troubadour music. Next, letter G. Number 2, E. Number 3, D. 4, C. 5, B. 6, I. 7, J. 8, F. 9, A. 10, H. Okay, pakitotal po lahat ng score. Ayan. Next, our last activity. Pakisulat din po sa long pad. Okay, divide true or false. Read each statement thoroughly. Write the word music if the statement is correct And if it is wrong, change the underlined words to make the statement correct. Write your answer on the space provided. Number 1. Monophonic is the oldest musical type of music. Number 2. Agnus Dei is the only musical composition written in Greek language. Number 3. Almost all of the musical composition during Renaissance period was written in Latin. Number 4. Lute was the prominent instrument of the Renaissance era. Number 5. Medieval periods. Most important secular vocal music is the a cappella. Then next, I realized that music is ano po yung about naintindihan nyo about sa music ng medieval, Renaissance, saka ng Baroque. Okay, pakisulat. Sana meron kayong natutunan. Huwag kayong papaka-stress. I-enjoy lang. Thank you for your listening. Thank you for watching na din.